Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently getting close to running up against our credit limit, and we're definitely going to have to do something about that, but for the time being, we're not quite there yet. So we'll continue going for the moment, and checking in here, 1.79 versus 1.75, that should be a bridge that we can build. No doubt about that. I'm not particularly concerned about that. So that looks great, and looking at our current pop growth, it's down to 3.34%. And the question is, why is that the case? So we can see that here in Wisconsin, it's definitely dropped to about 3.4. The birth rate has dropped. And I think this has to do, well, we haven't really increased our standard of living or decreased it. We've decreased it a little bit. Okay, well, it's probably just in some way standard fluctuations, is my guess. The important thing isn't necessarily this percentage figure, it's that this number continues to go up. And that's what we're going to look to do. And Charity Hospitals is going to address this as well, it's just going to address it on the opposite side. Instead of increasing the birth rate, this is going to be reducing the mortality rate. So that's understood. What is this war? Vietnamese uprising? I do not care. Okay. So that sounds good for now, and let's see if we get Charity Hospitals passed here. We've got a 34% chance on that, 28% chance of advance, 35% chance of debate. So pretty good chance that we have at least something good happening here. So that would be wonderful. And we're just keeping an eye on our finances here. We're going to need to pause our construction very soon, but we're not quite there yet. So how long until we get this iron mine built? 20 weeks? Okay, yeah. So Charity Hospitals passed. That's excellent. And we can see we're still pretty negative on our bureaucracy, and there's not too much that we can actually do about that. But Charity Hospitals passing is great. So that gives us minus 3% mortality just right off the bat. So now we can see we're up to 2.8k annual projected pop growth. So that is definitely something. We want to continue to have that come on up. And we can see our population is definitely going up reasonably quickly. So that seems great. We're very, very happy about that. Now, our current credit limit is 208k. It fluctuates around based on our GDP, which is currently in sharp decline, probably because of this war that Britain pulled us into. That's likely what's going on that, but it's recovering now, and we can see we're at about 207k. We should probably pause construction at this juncture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and let's see where that's going to put us. We're still going to be very, very slightly negative. We could bump up our consumption-based taxation, but I think we're actually better off to bump down our medium government wages, like this. So we're now making a very, very small amount of money, and that's understood. So we're going to let that go. We have a lot of open jobs that we built during that construction period, and now we need to grow into those jobs, right? So that is exactly what we're going to look to do here. So 2.81, definitely going up there. I like it. And we've got a ways to go on this population. We also need to increase our literacy, which that is going up reasonably quickly. But I want to check in here on the status of our government administrations in Indiana. This is really, really, really slow. And as we can see here, 1 pop fulfills the qualifications to become clerks. 0 pops this week. So that's absolutely not great. The lack of qualifications is the issue. We want to hire a total of 7.1k, and that is a long ways away. So with that in mind, how are we doing on earning recognition? This is actually continuing to go up, so that's good. And we're actually slightly negative financially right now. Ooh, an agitator for the animist traditionalist movement. I mean, we're not that concerned about traditionalism. Do we have any other law changes that we can actually do that we would want to do? Not really. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot in terms of laws here. We could go for traditionalism, but I really don't think that we want to do that. What we would really want to do is we would want the the industrialists to no longer be marginalized. Right? So where exactly are those? They're here. Oh, there's 25 of them now. That's good. That's very good. So we're seeing this starting to grow now. Excellent. So if we take a look at our agitator here, we would like to replace this guy with somebody else, but we don't have anyone to replace him with. So for the time being, this is about as good as it's going to get. So that sounds fine for now. Our primary goal at this point needs to remain growing our population. So 2.85, yeah, that's definitely increasing. I like it. So that seems very, very solid for right now. And earning recognition is being worked on, so no real problem there. Now, if we go look at Britain at this point, our liberty desire is going down by 0.21. And a lot of that is clout of political lobby interest groups in government, right? So we've got this British Empire Union here. This is a big issue. And how can we get them to leave that? I know that there are events for that. This is pretty okay. So they have this 8 approval here, but this is their lobby support. Okay, compatibility of primary cultures, sure. So we have a mining accident at this point. Industrialists could gain support here, and that's probably a good thing for us. We're going to take that for the time being. So industrialists gaining support is meaning that they're going to hopefully grow their number of supporters. But there's only a few types of pops that will actually, be interested in doing this. So for the moment, there's not too much that we can do about that. So this guy is the current leader there. Understood. And we're making very, very small amounts of money right now. That's fine. For the moment, we're working on bringing up our population, and that's absolutely the primary goal here. We also really do want to get some of this bureaucracy back. We're on 20% tax waste, right? So bringing our bureaucracy up would be absolutely tremendous. We managed to hire 2 clerks. We're up to 1.2k employees. So, I mean, that's something, anyway. We'd love to get that up, but for the time being, there's not so much that we can actually do about that. So for now, this is reasonably fine. We're mostly just chilling at this moment. We did lose some loyalties. This is probably due to standard of living dropping a little bit, and that's understood. So nothing too major there for right now. We're still mostly interested in this, right? Okay, the cotton gin has been unlocked. That's neat. But keep in mind, we're working on nationalism. So the cotton gin being unlocked is up here, and we'll see what technology spreads to us next. So that'll be fine. I want to check in here. We're at 5k peasants at this moment. Sure. We've been hovering at about 5k peasants for a while now. So that means that our pop growth and our literacy, well, our literacy is growing faster than our population is, and that's very, very good. So we have more literate pops in terms of a percentage all the time. So you can see here 83.88k, 19.11k being literate. So that is good, and we're increasing qualifications, but we just need to get our literacy up, ideally over 25 very, very soon. You can see here that our GDP is doing this. Yeah, sure. That's fine for the moment. We just have very low base population. That's the main issue right now. But we are up to 2.9k for our annual projected pop growth at this point. So that is looking very solid. In here, I want to check in real quick. Freedom of conscience and professional army. I'd love to get off of industry banned, but we don't really have anything other than traditionalism, and I don't know that I actually want to go to traditionalism. Let's see here. Would that be a beneficial thing? Honestly, I don't feel like it is. I think we're better off being on industry banned, for the moment anyway. So that's fine, and of course we don't want to change anything in our rights of women laws at this moment. We are utilizing that sweet, sweet birth rate. So that is absolutely fine. Our GDP is continuing to do this nonsense. That's absolutely fine for right now. So we are very, very slightly negative at this moment. This isn't a big deal for the moment, and our investment pool is slowly growing. Eventually, we'll have the workforce for private constructions to make use of this money, but right now, we absolutely do not. So that is understood for the moment. I would absolutely love to colonize out over this way, but we just don't have the political wherewithal to do that at this moment. So there's not really any real way to do that. We have no available agitators, and this just pretty much is what it is. So we do have some traditionalism that we can go for here. This is why probably... Actually, they're only going for legal guardianship and state religion. Okay. Well, we're not interested in either of those at this moment. Well, we have legal guardianship right now. We're not interested in going for state religion at this moment. Our GDP is really spiking around a lot. That's interesting. This must be due to the British market having very strange forces working on it, likely due to this war, which the British are currently losing. And they can drop below 0? Hang on, what's going on here? Britain, what do you got going on? They're trying to land over here. And losing. Okay, well... Have fun with that, Britain. That's very interesting. And they just peaced out. Okay. Vietnam is no longer part of the British Empire. Congrats, Britain. Congrats. So that's fine for the time being. But we're up to 85k at this point. And we can see our pop growth is now up to 2.93k. We just need to continue to exponentially increase this. That really needs to be our major focus at this time, is just exponential population growth. Also, increasing the power level of our industrialists would be great. We can see it's dropped down to 22 people instead of 25. Okay, well, we would very much like to increase the strength of our industrialists to get off of industry band, or at least get off of farms to factories. So this would trigger the event Road to Progress. So industrialists would need to not be marginalized. And what is the actual definition here? 5% clout. Okay. So the actual threshold there is 5%. Obviously, they're at 1.2%. So that's understood. That's actually pretty decent, considering they only have 22 people. But, yeah, that's not too far to go. We'll continue to focus on getting the industrialists up in clout eventually. We can't really do anything directly to intervene with them here, but for the moment, this is fine. Okay, so our population is up to 85.7k. We are going to be crossing 3k annually soon, and as I said in the last episode, that means that that's a 50% increase in our annual projected pop growth once we cross that, because we started at about 2k. So that is absolutely huge. We're very happy about that. Let's check in on the status of our government administrations here. 1.3k. I mean, that's something anyway. I don't know what, but it's something. I'm thinking about raising taxes here. Like this. We are still net negative. We are still net negative. Let's cut our military wages. Okay, we need to be net positive and be working on paying off this debt. Not that we care that much about it, because our interest rate is 0. We just need to be getting to a place where we can construct again eventually, right? So that is absolutely fine for right now. So 2.97, our population curve is slowly going up here. What is this war? Eastern Cree. Out over here. Okay, that's not super relevant to us either. We're probably not going to take part in that at this point either. So that's fine. Michigan has a standard of living issue out over here. So this is currently struggling, and what are the jobs available here? We have this maize farm, but that's fully maxed out. So there aren't really other jobs available in Michigan right now, which is I mean, this is basically half of our peasants. A little over half of our peasants, actually. So boosting this up would definitely not be a bad thing. So that would mean that we would need to grab our logging camp in Michigan and move that up here. We could unpause our construction for a little bit here, but we don't get anything in terms of this, right? What do we have for our jobs in our construction sector? Hang on here. Okay, yeah, that's why that's more expensive. So that's understood. We can work on this a little bit. But we are going to run out of money relatively soon here. So that is absolutely understood. To that end, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut our government wages as well. This is not going to be a significant gain, but that's okay. We're not able to draw at all from our investment pool at this moment, and that's a significant problem for us. No doubt about that. But our population is growing. Ooh, 3.22k. Our pop growth went back up to 3.7. So that is really solid. Really, really solid. And our number of peasants continue to drop. We've now breached the 25% marker on our literacy rate. That is a very good sign there. So we're earning recognition with no monthly progress right now. This is because our GDP per capita has dropped off. Understood. 7 weeks. Are we going to get there? It's going to be awfully close. Incredibly close. I don't think we're going to get there, though. I'd love to get this logging camp finished. Let's see what happens. We're going to go into default briefly, I think. But we might be able to finish this logging camp. 3 weeks left? Ooh, that's going to be so close. We got to pause it. That's very unfortunate. Okay, so we have to pause it there, and if we do this, we can see we're at 102. Now 103. So we're going to have to hold here for a little bit. That'll be fine. For the moment, this is relatively okay. And what is this minus 557 here? Oh, this is our government expenses. Okay, I see. Sure. So that's absolutely fine for right now. We're going to want to resume our construction again shortly. If we check in here, we're 1 week away from this, right? But we have to, actually, our credit limit went up. Let's go. Let's get this logging camp finished. I just want to get some jobs in Michigan. Okay, now we re-pause it, and I want to just re-update this. Perfect. There we go. So that'll be fine. We're going to go back to paying off debt. Now that we've got that going, we're currently in default. Because our credit limit dropped because our GDP is currently in a downswing. Understood. Our GDP should go back into an upswing eventually. And we should come out of default at that point. In theory. Now, our throughput here is definitely going to be a bit of a problem, but as of right now, we are working on paying this off very slowly. There we go. So this reset, and that is, of course, due to our GDP starting to upswing again, and that's understood. So for now, I want to take a look at our current population. We're back in default because our GDP is, you know, it's all over the place. We should go back out of default, and this is going to be a thing for a little while. That's fine. We got these jobs finished in Michigan, and I want to take a look here at how that's doing. Okay, so we've got 750 employees here, and continuing to hire in. So that looks great. So we'll get those people put to work, and that should result in raising our standard of living in Michigan. So if we now see here, this is now 40% instead of 60, or actually 31.5% instead of 60%. Now 18.4%. So that looks good. Now we've got 80% below the minimum standard of living in Wisconsin. This is probably also indicating that we need more jobs here, although the maize farms are not maxed out at this juncture, and I'm wondering why. They failed to hire additional employees. Okay. Noted. Well, that's fine for now. We will get back to building those jobs eventually. So what do we got right now for peasants? 3.91k? Sure. And we're making 3.19k pop growth annually. I like it. That's really good. So our current population is trending up towards 90k. We'll be there within the next year. And our GDP has now recovered up to 130k, so that's something. What's going on over here? A mining accident. Okay, so we're going to take the radicalism and we are going to get the support for the industrialists. We really need more industrialist support. So we can see they're up to 29 now and rocking a cool 1.4%. We need to get their clout up above 5%. That's what needs to happen here. So we're working on it. We're definitely working on it, but we need more people. Specifically, we need more literate people. Our literacy is looking pretty okay. We're at number 83 right now and definitely cruising upwards on that. So that looks reasonably good. We're working on paying off this debt, but we're not actually that concerned about it because we don't pay interest for reasons. I don't know what that interest is, or rather what that reason is, but we don't pay interest. Now, earning recognition is not currently progressing, and this is because our GDP per capita isn't high enough. That's understood. And now Britain is enforcing us to join this war against Circassia. I don't care. Circassia is nowhere near us, so that is absolutely fine. Okay. So standard of living is obviously a bit of an issue for us, right? We absolutely want to do that. We want to increase standard of living, and the way that we would end up doing that is by giving jobs. So down over this direction, I want to take a look here. So we can see that they've got 776 peasants here. There's insignificant unemployment. This isn't actually a jobs issue in Wisconsin, is it? I don't think this is a jobs issue. So what is the issue then? So presumably the core issue is the middle strata here. So they're expecting 15. It's currently 11. Grain price, furniture, and clothing. Okay, so grain price is definitely something that we can work on. Now, maize does produce grain. So increasing the number of farmers here will drive down the price of grain, but this is still already pretty low. I think ultimately the core issue is the fact that our taxes are cranked. That's probably what we've actually got going on there. So that's understood. We're not running much of a surplus at this moment, and that's definitely a bit of a problem. But we're still mostly interested in getting our literacy up. That is incredibly, incredibly important to us. We have crested that 90k population threshold now. 3.2k annually, looking solid. And this is looking reasonably fine for now. But as I said, it's going to be slow progress. Let's check in on our law situation here. I don't think there's really anything to be changed here. We could go to land-based taxation. That would make us a little bit more. 197. It's a theoretical option. Industrialists are unfortunately down to 1.1. However, they're up to 30 population, so they're growing. That's a good sign. Now 35 population, and they're up to 1.5% clout. They're fluctuating around a lot, but we really want to see the industrialists growing. So that is good. We want to see their clout levels reach at least 5%. That would be absolutely ideal. So that's fine for now. And our GDP is pretty okay. It's stabilized at this point, so that's looking good. Our standard of living is not ideal, that's for sure. It's mostly middle strata that's having a problem. So, services and transportation. Can we do anything about that? Hang on. Let's take a look at our... Where are we? I'm looking for city centers. I don't know that we have this at this point. Do we not have city centers? Okay, so I guess we do not have city centers. That's good to know. That's probably what we've got going on there then. So how do we go about getting city centers? We probably need to change our laws. Like, from farms to factories here would be a really good thing to finish, I feel like, at this point. So getting our industrialists up is huge. They're up to 35 at this point, 0.1% there. But these are going to be pretty high-powered people, so that is fine. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on our literacy rate. I'd like to get that up way higher. And our population. That is going to be a big factor of this, too. We need our population to go up substantially. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.